You are driving your brand new Tesla. You are just loving life. Look at me. I have a Tesla. Oh, look how popular. Oh, wait. It is the night before your Tesla delivery. You are thrilled beyond belief. You have watched all of our videos here at Tesla Tips and Trips. You might have even watched a few of our competitors. Ugh, okay, fine. You've gotten all these checklists. You've downloaded them all. You are going to go over this car with a fine-tooth comb. You are going to spend hours making sure this car is absolutely perfect before you drive off into the sunset in Tesla ownership bliss, right? Right? Nah, you're not going to do that. But I've got some tips here that you might want to do. All right, top 10 important Tesla delivery day checklist. I even wrote them down just to make sure I get them all correct. Here's the thing. You're going to see all kinds of lists online. You're going to see all kinds of other YouTube videos about the delivery day experience, including one that we did recently with my dad. And the experience is so, thrilling. Even if you have a Tesla and you're getting a second Tesla, or you're helping a loved one or friend get a Tesla, it's still crazy exciting. And it kind of takes over everything. So these long, giant lists where you picture yourself with a clipboard and a pen and you're going over the car and making sure everything is correct, it's just not reality. Because the excitement takes over, it's shiny and new, it smells new, and those things take over the psychology of getting your brand new car, and this list goes out the window. You forget about it. You might do one or two of the items. And so I know this because I've gone through it 3 times. We have 2 of our own Teslas, and then I helped my dad recently deliver his Tesla. That video is pretty awesome. Go check that out as well. Oh, also, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you like what we're doing. We would totally appreciate it. Take seconds out of your day, and it's just hit the subscribe right now. I'll wait. Okay, so now on to the list. The lists out there are so long, hundreds and hundreds of items. We're going to narrow it down to 10 categories. I'm not going to say this is 10 items, but 10 categories that you should at least consider when you are delivering your shiny new Tesla. Before we begin with the 10 items, I want you to know that you need to bring some things on delivery day, or even if it's delivered to your driveway, you want to have these things ready and available. And those items, of course, are your driver's license, your proof of insurance, the cashier's check, if that's the way you're paying for the day, have that ready. You're going to have to do that a few days ahead of time. And then, of course, the deed or title to your trade-in, if you have a trade-in. We were out the door heading to my dad's delivery, and I'm like, Dad, hold on. We're taking this car. You're going to trade it in. Do you have the pink slip? Do you have the title to this car? You need that? Well, yeah, you got to prove that you own the car that you are trading in. So make sure you have those items when you are going on delivery day. Or, like I said, if it's being delivered to your house, which is kind of convenient, kind of cool. First thing you want to do is check out the exterior of the car, and most likely you won't even have access to the inside of the car when you first roll up to it or walk up to it. The Tesla advisor is going to have to be going through a bunch of stuff. They take photos, they go over the car on their end to make sure it is delivery worthy. So while they are doing that, make sure you go over the outside of the car because you still have access to it. And what I'm talking about is go over the paint, go over the glass, go over the wheels, any gaps that might come up. You want to kind of bring up anything that you might want addressed before you drive off. And a lot of these items are not going to be covered under warranty because they could happen the second you drive off the lot. So you want to make sure you address those before you drive off with the car. So let's go take a look at the outside of this car and show you some of the things you want to look at. So we're going to do a little make-believe here. This is a 2022 Tesla Model Y Performance. We are going to pretend it's brand new and go over things that you should be on the lookout for. Obviously, this is a somewhat used car. It's got 30,000 miles on it, so it's going to have some defects that hopefully a new one will not. One thing you want to take a look at is to see if all the panels line up properly. And one of the areas of contention is the hood. Sometimes it's lower than the other side. In fact, I think ours is, if you kind of roll your finger across here, there is definitely like a height difference between this and that. And then over here, it's pretty smooth. So I should have had that addressed. I think it's a simple adjustment. I've just never gotten around to it, and quite honestly, you don't even see it. You also have to come up with the comfort level of what you're okay with, what you're willing to sacrifice. Some people are gonna be, you know, hand over a list of 50 items. Some are gonna be like, yeah, there's 2 things I'd like to take a look at. So look for panel gaps right there. Another area that is big on the panel gap is like right here. The doors sometimes are not flush like this. In fact, my Model 3 over on this one is pretty good. If you run your finger over it, it's pretty level, but on my Model 3, it's clearly higher than this part here. So that's another area you want to take a look at. When you look at if it's a Model Y, look at the hatch. This gap right here, which is where it comes down to the car. You need to look at the other side and make sure it's level. We had a rental in Denver that was pretty large. I think it was on this side. When we were supercharging it, we noticed that this gap was huge, almost to the point where it looked open. And these are kind of simple adjustments they can make probably right there on the spot. One thing we had on our Model 3 delivery was we had a dent and a scratch. This is a Model Y, but it still has the thing right about here. I can probably show you a photo. There's a dent or a scratch here. That was like the only thing I decided to have addressed and have them look at. Now, Model Y, these are plastic. So right here, you can see there's a little gap here. I just popped it back into place. No big deal. On the Model 3, there are plastic items under here. Now, this whole thing is plastic on the Model Y. Under here, there's a little plastic piece on the Model 3. Just had to take a fist to it and go ahead and pop that in. So take a look for panel gaps. Look at glass. Make sure all the glass is good. No chips, no cracks. You're going to want to inspect that on the inside of the car as well. And this one is a bigger deal than people realize. I'm going to put up on the screen a Tesla Model Y from a showroom in Santa Monica, California. Take a look at this. It came, or is on the showroom, with curb damage, curb rash. So you're gonna wanna have that addressed, and because it's an item that you could literally drive off the lot at Tesla and hit a curb, they're likely not going to fix it. That's kind of on you. And it actually means more if you are leasing the car, because we know Tesla is a stickler for having no curb rash on their wheels when you turn in your lease. So you could be paying for this problem 3 years down the road when your lease is up and you hand in the car and you say, well, that curb rash was there when we delivered. Well, you should have probably said something. Like this one has curb damage right there. That's what it would look like. We did this. We can't, you know, tell Tesla to fix that. That's on us. But it shouldn't come new that way. Also, make sure that you have all the accessories that should come with the car. This one is a major one. It's a $50 item. It's called a J1772 to Tesla adapter. You can buy it on the Tesla website, but every new car currently should be coming with that. Our Tesla advisor, when my dad picked up his car recently, literally handed this to him in a bag, brand new. Said, here you go. Sometimes it comes in the Tesla bag. Do I have one of those? I don't. I don't have my Tesla bag with me, but there's a Tesla square bag that has that in there, as well as look for the license plate mounting for the front, which I don't have with me either. Should have probably planned for that. It's a piece of plastic with 3M tape on it, and it just kind of mounts on the front of the car. Some states it's required. California, it's required. Many Tesla owners don't have it though. Also, the screws needed to put the license plates on, at least to get you started. I recommend some other screws that I can put the link down in the description. They're slightly longer. They work better with a license plate frame, and they're locking, which is nice. And then, of course, look for the carpeted floor mats if you've got a long range or higher model Tesla. They're awful. I'm going to just say it right now. Some people like carpeted floor mats, but these are truly the worst of the worst. They bend and fold, and they're just awful. You're going to want to buy a second set that makes you a little happier. But make sure you get them if your model came with it. Next up, you're going to want to open and close all the doors and make sure that they do that properly and make sure that they sound good and that they align properly. Make sure it's a good experience when you have all these things open. Let's go ahead and do that. Once you got everything open, make sure that they close. Make sure that the areas within the door frame look good, free of any paint problems or stuff like that. First up in the front here, you're going to want to just kind of inspect everything. This piece comes off, so make sure all the clips are properly in. This is where you're going to be putting your windshield washer fluid in the future. That's basically the only serviceable item. Don't sit in this. I see so many people doing first photos and sitting in that. There is a weight restriction, although it's been increased lately. It's really not designed for people. Maybe kids. Kids are people, of course, but they're lighter people. That's the front area. Make sure everything looks good. Closing the front. I can't do it while I'm holding a camera, but you want to put a hand on either side of the logo and push down. I'm going to kind of do a wide push to put it down, but I recommend the two-handed approach or two-knuckle approach. There, I made it. By the way, they don't come red. I did that afterwards. In terms of the door frames, you're going to want to take a look all the way around. Make sure everything looks good. You don't want to see any points of wear, missing paint, because that could indicate a problem. And then all the way around, make sure the weather stripping, that sort of thing. And do that on all 4 doors. Oh, one door I forgot is the charge port door. Let's take a look at that just to make sure. And you hit the lightning bolt on the screen. And then you quickly head out and take a look. Just make sure it looks good. Make sure these they have the plastic ports on there. Make sure this isn't loose. Just make sure overall it looks okay. This may seem like an obvious thing, but make sure it's the car you ordered. Check the VIN, check the color, check the features and options. What else we got here? Colors, wheels, paperwork. Make sure all that matches the VIN that's on the car. By the way, you can find the VIN right here on the windshield and match this number with all the paperwork that you are probably going to be signing on that day. That's a big one. If you take away just that one thing from this video, you got to make sure everything is correct. Also make sure that inside your app, your Tesla app, that everything is correct before you drive off. Obviously, you want to address all these minor cosmetic imperfections that might have come from either the factory or during transit on the hauler, moving them around, that sort of thing. These are all items that you want to get addressed before you leave the delivery center area with the car, because it'll be really hard to prove later that it was on Tesla. So those are a lot of little minor things that you want to have addressed. All the big things, those are covered under the 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty, and even longer with the battery and powertrain. Not a lot of Tesla owners know this. They think that after the 4 years or 50,000 miles, you are out of warranty. And that is not true. Battery and powertrain items are all covered for much longer. Check your Tesla app. There's a warranty section. It'll tell you the exact year and mileage on how long those longer warranted items are going to last. So keep that in mind. It's not as bad as you think. Back inside the car, and you're going to want to spend a little bit of time here, and this is going to be after the fact that the Tesla advisor is done doing their thing. You are about to take this car as your very own if you are inside the car already. But take some time and look around. In fact, look up. Not a lot of people look up when they're inside the car, and look at the headliner, see if there's any smudges, any dirt, any fingerprints, because this headliner, let me see if I could show you, this headliner is crazy hard to clean. So if there's anything on delivery day, you don't want to start your ownership with a dirty headliner. It's just really hard to get dirt out. Check that the buttons work. Here, by the way, is where the hazard lights are. So check that out, make sure those work. Make sure that these lights work. Yes, you can push on these to make them work. And just generally speaking, check all the interior items. Make sure that this light works. So check out the items inside the car. Obviously, you're going to go over screen stuff with your advisor, hopefully. And that way you can check out all the other details of the interior of the car and the functions of the car and that sort of thing. Check the dash. The dashes have been known to bubble. In fact, our Model 3 had that, but heat has kind of fixed that. I'm not sure what happened there, but heat has fixed that. So just a general overall feeling. Check the seats. You're going to want to check the seats like right here. You can see how these folds are here. Now, I think these happened over time, but sometimes they deliver this way. So you're gonna wanna make sure that the seats are okay, especially the driver's seat. Make sure that this piece of plastic here is properly seated. Sometimes the clips come loose and there are issues down the road. So check out all the seats, not just the driver's seat, both sides. So on a Model Y in particular, you're gonna wanna check and see if the seats go down and then up properly as well. Model 3 as well, but these actually have buttons. I don't know if the new Model 3s have this. So do that. There we go on the second one, and then go on either side and push them back in. Make sure that they lock into place properly. Just a little thing. Make sure that they lock and they are, you know, solid. And do the same thing with the big one on the other side. I'll have to take a look at my dad's Model 3. Maybe you can chime in. I don't know if the Model 3s have those buttons. So this is heavier, but make sure it locks into place. You can hear it. So that's good. So check those seats. Again, earlier tip, make sure you check the seats for this kind of thing all over. If it bothers you, then have it addressed. If it doesn't, there might not be anything that you can do about it. Check the stitching, make sure none of the stitching is coming up. Also do the same thing with the steering wheel. There is stitching all around the steering wheel. Just kind of run your hand around it, make sure that there's no stitches coming up. Make sure that the steering wheel hasn't received any damage during transit. You know, the truck driver delivering the car might have had his belt or something clip it or whatever. Make sure that that's addressed. By the way, a brand new car should deliver with less than 50 miles. Less than 50 miles. It's usually between 5 and 20. But it should be less than 50 for it to be considered a brand new car. I mean, there's exceptions to that rule, but you really don't want it higher than that. And that's gonna happen when, you know, they drive the car off the assembly line. They drive the car onto the truck. They drive the car from the truck to the parking lot where it's waiting. They drive the car from the parking lot to the delivery center. They're gonna put some miles on the car. Okay, this tip others may not think of, but I did. Bring a USB-C cable with you for whatever phone you may have. Now, this is obviously for an iPhone, so it's USB-C to Lightning, soon to be USB-C to USB-C. But bring one with a USB-C connector, bring your phone, and check that these ports, here's where there are 2 ports on the Model Y and new Model 3s as well. So there's 2 USB-C ports here. Just plug it in, make sure it charges. The other thing is, open the dash, open the glove box and make sure that you have, now we have since put a aftermarket, but there'll be a flash drive in here with a Tesla label on it. Make sure that they included that for you. And we have a game controller too. Pretty cool, huh? So right here in this spot in the glove will be a Tesla logoed USB flash drive or thumb drive. I suggest upgrading that at some point, but it's good to go to start the life of the car. And then it should have a red dot on it, meaning it's recording right here. While we're inside the car, make sure that the basics work. So go into the car and then under controls, make sure, you know, the headlights work, the turn signals work. You know, you can see that up there. I have the camera set up here, left, right. Make sure that, like I said, the headlights work. Make sure that the windshield wipers work without any noises, that sort of thing. Just, you know, get the basics to work, because as you drive off, you don't know what you're going to encounter. Rainstorm or whatever might come up before it can be fixed. So get those basics checked out while you still have the car on the lot. All right, another tip that I want you to make sure that works before you take it off the lot is they're going to give you 2 of these. These are your Tesla key cards. They are to open the car and to start the car if the app is not properly working. I highly, highly recommend you keeping this on you at all times. There have been times when I show up to my car and I can't get the app to work. It will not open my car. I pull it right out of my wallet and boom, I'm inside the car, no problem. Not sure why that happens, but at the end of the day, this is a computer with wheels, not the other way around. So with one of your key cards, or both, you might want to check them both, but with at least one, because you can make the other one work, check and make sure that it works on the B pillar here. This is the A pillar. This will be the B pillar. And for the Model Y, it's lower than the Model 3, and you can hear the car just open, the mirrors moved, it beeped. On the Model 3, it's actually higher, it's up here. And it will tell you that on this card. So this is actually my Model 3 card. Yes, you can assign these cards to other vehicles, other Teslas that you already own. Both of our cards for both our Model 3 and our Model Y will open up both cars. So again, Model 3 is up here, Model Y is down here, and it also locks the car. So just make sure that these cards work. Once you're happy with all of these things that I've pointed out in today's video, and you're driving away and you are got a smile ear to ear, you are driving your brand new Tesla, you are just loving life. Look at me, I have a Tesla. Oh, look how popular. Oh wait, there's 1,000 other ones on the road. No, seriously, listen for any vibrations or sounds or anything that you can report in that first 100 miles or 3 days. Now, I have yet to find any real concrete evidence via Tesla's website or their owner's manual or anything, but the conventional thinking is, and I think our Tesla advisor recently said, you have 100 miles or 48 or 3 days, I'm not sure which, to report any weird defects or paint chips or things like that. After that, it's going to have to default to the 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty, and they may or may not cover it, depending on if it's a wear item, a damage item, that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. Don't drive over 100 miles. Go over the car with this checklist again, maybe, when you get home. And that way you could be doubly sure that all these things are working, provided you live within 100 miles of taking delivery of the car and you don't drive all over the place showing off your car to your friends and family, who also probably have Teslas anyway. That is our look at the top 10 most important things you should probably take a look at during delivery day when you get your shiny new Tesla. And you don't want to have the delusions of, oh my gosh, it's so exciting to get a brand new Tesla. I am not going to check anything. Check some of these things. I'm not asking you to do all of them because even that is kind of wildly crazy, but check some of these that I highlighted today, and I think you'll feel more confident driving off the lot. As always, we totally appreciate you watching our videos. If you like what we're doing here, go that next step. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It takes just seconds out of your day, and we totally appreciate it. We will catch you on the next video, and we thank you so much for watching.